Every day there's at least 15 to 25 R32s coming through the system. It's crazy stuff. There's RX-7s, there's Supras, there's Honda NSXs, you name it, they've got it. It's there for sale. Tells you when it's being sold, what the starting bid price is, how much it's sold for, the grading, etc., etc. Now we're going to look at actual paperwork on my vehicle and how I imported it and how I brought it in. What's up, guys? So today we're going to talk about importing a Nissan Skyline GTR into the country. So this video is specific to South Africa, although some laws may be similar. I'm not sure how they work in the United States or the UK or anywhere out of South Africa for the matter. However, if you're wanting to import one of these vehicles or any other Japanese sports car, you can follow these guides. Now, if you're based in the United States or Northern America, I've partnered up with a company called RB Motoring. They will assist in bringing in your dream vehicle from Japan. They do have vehicles in stock in the inventory. I've dropped a link in my description, and at the end of the video you can check them out. For what we're going to discuss though is particular to South Africa, so let's get started on this. So the first thing obviously is finding the car and buying the car. Now the car may be in Japan or another country, so we're going to particularly look at Japan and a couple of ways to buy the car. So one, most common, people go to Trade Car View and they'll find their car. So this particular 91 is $10,500, $11,600 with shipping to Durban, South Africa, which is where I live. And this is through a dealer. So someone has bought this car, they have the car in their lot or in their warehouse, and they're wanting to sell this vehicle. So that's one way of doing it. So you can approach these guys, you can see what they've got in stock and buy from there. Then there's auction houses. So I see this is an auction house I've never been to. This is Japan Used Cars. There were no Skylines in here, but I saw a Silvia S15. And I'm guessing that you can put a bid down and buy the car from there. iauc.co.jp. This is where my car came from. Now, this works with all the auction houses and all the lots that are in Japan, Kobe, Tokyo, etc. It looks at all of the lots and it pulls one big inventory. And you can select cars specifically by grade of vehicle, interior, exterior, model, make, engine size. You can filter all of those guys out and do your purchases. Now, I unfortunately don't have access to this anymore. My login's expired, but you can sign up and set it up. Most of it, as you see, is in Japanese. You can use Google Translate and get most of the stuff out. When you click on English version, you'll come to a sign-in page. You sign in here, and I'd say about 80% of it is in English. It's quite easy to work through. You'll see thousands and thousands of cool vehicles going through. Every day there's at least 15 to 25 R32s coming through the system. It's crazy stuff. There's RX-7s, there's Supras, there's Honda NSXs, you name it, they've got it. It's there for sale. Tells you when it's being sold, what the starting bid price is, how much it's sold for, the grading, etc., etc. Now we're going to look at actual paperwork on my vehicle and how I imported it and how I brought it in. So I'm going to show you how to import this vehicle. So once you found your vehicle, we are going to bring it into the country following these specific set of rules. Let's take this guy, for example. R33 GTR. I know you cannot bring this in the United States, but this is $12,500. Okay, so our laws in South Africa works on engine capacity in terms of the money that you'd have to pay to SARS. So we get some sort of a VAT amount that we've got to pay, or rather a tax amount, and that tax would be based on engine size. So I think it's 1600 to 3 litre motors, you're going to be paying 25%. So fortunately we fall under that bracket. We pay 25% of the value of the vehicle. This is $12,500, so it's roughly $3,000 that we would have to pay in tax. Okay, on top of that, you'd have to pay 14% VAT. Now that is standard in South Africa. So essentially you're looking at paying 39% of the value of the vehicle. Okay, once that's done, you're going to be looking at a couple things. So let's get the real paperwork out and show you. So guys, this is my actual auction sheet from the purchase of my vehicle. So obviously I have omitted a couple items here, so it's personal to me. I didn't want to show any of this. So Skyline Coupe BNR32, the rest of the numbers is your chassis numbers. Lot number, I've blurred that out. GTR, it's a 93, 2.6 litre, 79,000 kilometers. F5 is my gearbox. Now all the gearboxes start with the F5 for the 5-speed. RA, that condition means it's a rebuild, and it was a minor rebuild. So the back of the car had a small ding. It has been fixed. It was fixed in Japan, and it's actually done pretty well. However, the respray wasn't so great. The exterior grade is a B and a C for the interior. Now, B is a really good exterior grade. A is obviously a brand new car. B, it's close to that. So the car's got HID headlights on here. It's showing it's a GTR. B&R series. It's got power steering, power windows. Now these little things here, that means that there's a scratch on the car, scratch or a dent. That means it's a small dent, and it's generally the size smaller up to a golf ball. So up to the size of a golf ball. Luckily I didn't have any of those. They were tiny little dents. I'm not even sure how the guys picked it up. Those are scratches, light scratches, and that's a little bit of damage on the back. So that is your sheet. Now, these are the photos that you get when you're looking at the auction house, and this is all you get to see. Now, I'm guessing that they marked my interior down to grade C because, one, my leather boot was damaged. I've replaced that. The leather boot over here for the handbrake was damaged. I've replaced that. There were wires hanging all over the place, and I've tucked those away, and everything's nice and neat now. P1 Buddy Club rims. So that's all that I got to see on the car. These details here generally show you that there's some sort of a modification. It shows that there's HID headlights. And in here, if you get this translated, you will see that they might have written it's an HKS, intercooler, etc. I did get this translated, however, I cannot find the sheet. It did mention a couple mods. I didn't know there were coilovers on the car, and there were a few small choice things that I would have loved to have known before the car arrived. But regardless, I got a surprise. So guys, moving on. Let's go straight into it. So the first thing that you need to do is you need to obviously get compliant with a company called ITAC. Now that's your International Trade Association. They will allow you to buy the car. Now before doing so, you need to get registered with the import-export. So you need to get a license. So you can just go down to their website over here, import-export license. That's here today. Fill in your name, your ID number, the date, where you're from, your physical address, numbers, etc. Sign, and then obviously get the stamp by commission of oath at the police station or in your warehouse. Next, another declaration form that you need to fill in. Now this is your general power of attorney and letter of consent. So this is just to state that you got permission and that you're entitled to apply for an import and export license with customs. So we've got something called SARS in the country. It's your South African Revenue Service, and that's customs as well. Obviously they will need to make sure that you qualify to get this particular license. So you got to send through these details. Along with this, you are going to send through a letter stamped by commission of oath to state that you are Joe Blogg, you live at this address, and that you reside here, and that you oath that you are purchasing the following vehicle from Japan. The vehicle is not in a bond store. Now, if you don't know what a bond store is, it means that there's some sort of a warehouse in the port in Durban. These cars come in, they get stored there, and they get sold off to Malawi, Zimbabwe, Swaziland, etc., etc. Now, these cars cannot be purchased or registered in South Africa, at least not as a road-going car, perhaps a track car. Now, this car I bought direct from Japan. It was not in a bond store at all. So, you got to fill in this form, you got to give that to the guys. Next. So the next step is, with SARS, you need to fill in this documentation, and it's this particular annexure, and you need to sign up as an importer. Okay, so you're importing, you put in all your details. Are you doing it yourself? Your clearing agent. Now I'll discuss the clearing agent in a second. And you put in all your details, etc., etc. and you send that through. Signed, all of that sort of stuff. Okay. Then you're going to chat to a clearing and forwarding agent. Now, my clearing and forwarding agent was Diamond Shipping Services. Okay. Now, these guys arranged all the shipping with the guys in Japan. They discussed what ship it's going on, how it's going to get across, etc., etc. And they did all the clearing and forwarding for the vehicle. Now, this car came from Kobe, Japan. This letter was issued in Osaka. So this letter comes from SARS that there's a response saying that it's been granted. They can send the vehicle overseas, but you need to get all your paperwork in order, make sure that you're cleared with SARS. So my ship was the Morning Champion. Okay, the car left the port on the 13th of October 2013 and arrived roughly a month later to Durban, South Africa. Now this is another document from the ship. It just states that it's going to Durban. This is the supplier where the car was. Now the car came from the auction house and it went to some sort of a checking place. They made sure the car is okay. It then got loaded onto the ship, and through these guys, it got loaded on the ship. And they put in all the details here, my engine number, my chassis number, etc., etc. Okay, here's another letter from SARS. This is a customs notification letter just to say that this car is coming on Morning Champion and it arrived on this date and it's cleared for entry into the country. Once it's all sent through, you get a confirmation letter. Now this letter you will get first faxed to you and then you'll get a original copy sent to you. Now this letter comes from the International Trade Administration Commission of South Africa. It comes through very quickly. You'll generally get this fax within 2 days. So you're going to say to them, hey guys, I want to import this Mazda RX-7. Can I do it? They'll come back to you and say yes or no, and they'll send you this letter. Okay, so it was quite simple, and let's zoom in a little bit here. So this letter basically authorizes you to import the particular vehicle, and they state that it's a Nissan Skyline R32, the engine number, the chassis number, and it being a collector's item or collector's vehicle. This vehicle may not be offered, lent, hired, leased, pledged, given away, exchanged, sold, or otherwise be disposed of in South Africa for a period of 2 years from the date of clearance for home consumption into the Republic. Now, for you, if you don't understand what that means, up until the date that your car gets licensed, that's day one. The day the car gets licensed and on the road and you put your first license sticker on that car and you get your number plate, you cannot sell that car, you cannot lend it to anyone, you cannot let people drive that car without you being in the passenger seat. Now, for some, that sucks. I'm not sure what the rules are overseas, but here, I mean, I would have loved to lend my car to some people, some friends, etc., but couldn't happen. Fortunately, my car is now older than 2 years, and it's been licensed for more than 2 years. I can sell it, not that I'm going to. So this letter is very important. With this letter, you can then purchase the vehicle. So guys, this is my customs declaration form. It's just to state that the exporter were the guys in Japan, the importer was myself, my agent here was Impact Plus, trading as Freight Impact, and it came on Morning Champion, etc., etc. The weight of the car, 1480, and then obviously your price and how much you're paying SARS and all the calculations. Okay, next, this is from the shipping company. This is from the shipper, and it's coming to me. I'm the consignee. Where did they load the car? They loaded the car in Sakai, Senboko, Japan. Came on Morning Champion to Durban, South Africa. It's a Nissan Skyline. There's my chassis and engine number. That's how much the car weighs, etc., etc. Impact Plus Trading. Now these guys, they arranged everything. They were actually my clearing agent. I made a mistake earlier. So they used Diamond Shipping. Those were the transporters. These were the clearing agents. So this SARS EDI notification means that they can release the car. They gave the car to me. From there, I need to do quite a few things, such as licensing, weighbridge, etc., which we'll go into now. Okay, so Here's the big one. This is your NRCS letter. So this is your National Regulator for Compulsory Specifications. So we've got something here called SABS, and it's essentially your Bureau of Standards in Southern Africa or South Africa, and they make sure that your car has a steering wheel, it has 4 wheels, it's got a braking system and headlights and blah blah blah. So they make sure it's compliant and suitable for our roads. So we fill in all the details here and we send them something first. I don't have the original document anymore, and they send something back with a stamp to say it's okay. However, they do check the car first. So are there any modifications? No, they didn't know any better. Is it for personal use? Yes. There's my details, my address, etc. It's a collector's item. It's a coupe, Skyline R32 GTR. It came from Japan, 93. The mass is 1,500 kilos. Should have been slightly lighter, but I think we went in with full tank and oils and everything full. Engine size, etc. Okay, and this comes from Pretoria, which is quite far from me, about 600-700 kilometers away. Now, when you're fetching the car, you have to get a permit. So you do this first. So you get a police identification form. You put in your details here, your chassis number and your engine number, and they will sell you something called a 21-day permit. That permit gets stuck to the back of your windscreen. Obviously, you don't need number plates. You'll be driving with this permit. Your car will be legal on the road for 21 days. Within those 21 days, you've got to do a couple things. You've got to get your certificate of roadworthy for the vehicle, which means that you need to make sure that the car is fine, it's driving, there's no leaks, its braking system works, etc. That's one of the things you need to do. There's many testing stations all over Durban. The next one is a weighbridge. You need to take the car for weighing. So the car is supposed to be at 1480 for my particular model, 93 and up. It came in at 1560. I don't remember why. I think there might have been stuff in the boot or full of fuel. I don't remember, but it should have been 1480. So it came in at 1560. Now this is obviously your weight that will be on the car when you license and will be on your paperwork. So unfortunately it's showing 1560 for me. Okay, this is your certificate of roadworthy, your CRR. They didn't fail me on anything, everything was working. There's a whole check sheet that they go through and make sure the car's running and everything's fine on the car. So they passed my vehicle, no problem. And that got passed a few days after it arrived, exactly 7 days after it arrived. And back to my auction sheet. So guys, thereafter, you got to do your CRR, your weighbridge, your data dotting. You need to keep going back to the police station back and forth and keep getting affidavits stamped so that you can get more, sorry, not affidavits. You need to go back to the police station every now and again to go get more commission of oath so you can actually import, so that you can actually get additional 21-day permits so you can drive the car on the road. And it takes time. It took about 7-8 months to get the car licensed on the road. But once it was done, the car is here and it's running great. Guys, if you want me to go into more detail on this sort of stuff, let me know. Hit me up in the comments section, or you can find me on Facebook. Let me know what you want to know about this sort of stuff. I can give you some guidelines, how I found out, who I dealt with in Japan to help me buy the cars. If you guys want any help, let me know in the comments section or hit me up on Facebook. I'd love to hear from you guys. It's cool getting some discussion going. Obviously, I don't know your laws overseas, but I may be able to help on the Japanese side, perhaps on the buyer's end, the auction side, whatever you may need to know. Like I said earlier, if you do need an import in Northern America, you can contact RB Motoring. The link is coming up right now. Thanks, guys. Cheers. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to hit the like button and click subscribe for more weekly videos. Also, if you've got Facebook, you can find me at NLCL GTR Vlogs.